Oh my gosh. Today I've got Lucy Thornton from Savannah, Georgia. When I met Lucy, I immediately adopted you because I thought,
Same.
oh my gosh, this chick's got talent. She's got drive. She is fun. And you've been on a rocket ship since the time you became a loan officer just 3 short years ago, Lucy. And I'm so excited to uncover and unpack your story, how you've grown so quickly with being a trust builder and networker. But most importantly, understanding how you keep getting plopped in new cities, being a military spouse and starting businesses in each city you've been in. First starting as a real estate agent and then deciding 3 years ago to be a loan officer. Lucy closed over $41 million in business last year, helping over 130 families in Savannah, Georgia, which you've now landed 4 years in Savannah. So, and your husband is retiring from the military in 45 days. Congratulations. You've been married for 22 years. You've got 3 boys, which I cannot even imagine how busy your life is being a military spouse. He was gone and traveling most of your marriage. You, every few years, are moving to new cities. Your boys are 3, 9, and 16. Lucy, how do you keep your head on straight and keep that smile and balance being a mom and a loan officer? How do you do it?
Yeah, that's a total trick question, friend. Hold on, wait a second. Total trick question. It's easy. Coffee to cocktails. That's how you do it. Yeah.
For seriousness, that is true about your story. In the 22 years you've been married, you've been holding down the fort mostly, right? I mean, he goes out for long stints and then comes back, and you've been managing being self-employed as either a real estate agent or loan officer and raising these boys. So what's been your attitude about what comes first? What's a priority? I see so many people that struggle, that want to be a great mom and that want to absolutely crush it with their goals. What's kind of been your mindset about it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely family comes first, right? When I started off as a realtor, I didn't have kids. And so, but again, being a super competitor, wanting to be, and then just carrying him around and being like, okay, for Jackson, my oldest, this is all he's known. And so, and the boys now, it's a little weird when you work from home because they're like, well, mom's right there. Of course you can make me a sandwich. I'm like, and so I can't talk right now. So, but just, them being the priority. And Jim, has had more times than the last couple of years, 4 years, he's really been kind of what we called stationary. We did do 2 summers where we did 2 months with him totally gone, which was not fun because obviously we're the busiest during the summer. And a lot of my people just know, and I think people respect that too. That this is, I'm still a good loan officer, even though I have to mom sometimes, and so I was like, and if you're asking me to talk to you at 7:30 at night, you just have to know too that I am a mom, and that is a priority for me. And so, but yeah, for the most part, we just do it, right? I don't ever call it balance. I call it harmony. So I've just always had harmony in what I've wanted, and so I don't personally believe in balance in my life. I don't have it, but it's as long as I just feel at peace of what I got going on, then we're good. Then we sleep good at nighttime. All of us.
Good for you. Yeah. Good for you. Have your boys ever complained we move every couple years, dad's gone, you're working as a realtor, you're always on the phone. Have they given you a lot of flack for that? Or was there things that you've said along the way that have helped them just be cool with it?
I think the oldest, just because he's always had that, right? He's always had that transition. He's always had the movement. So for him, it's well, what's complaining going to do, right? And I like to think I'm not a complainer by nature, and neither are they. It's it is what it is. How are we going to make the best of it? My middle's a little funny, well, and he'll check my phone, how long I've talked. The other day he checked, he's like, you talked for 11 hours. I'm like, 11 hours? I was like, that's insane. So the middle will complain more, but I think it's just the age and the time. And luckily now dad is more present than ever. So they give me a little bit of slack. For the most part, they know. And I'm like, hey, you want to go on this vacation? You want to live in this nice home? Part of this is what we do, and so it's mom's here, I'm just maybe sometimes not. I'm just physically here. So,
well, I think that, and we didn't prep to talk about this, but I just feel called to talk about it. There's so many, moms on Instagram that are making sourdough bread and have their lunches perfectly packed for their kids. And they seem to have clean clothes all the time and their hair is brushed. I'm even saying, wow, I bet you that kid brushes his teeth.
Yeah, nope. Yeah.
Because, I've been growing, like I literally started getting coached 1 week before having my first baby, Gemma. And so I was as competitive and focused and go-getter as I've ever been from the moment they were born. And I'd love to say too that I have had perfect boundaries and that I don't come in the house on the phone and that, my mind isn't totally thinking about business as I'm nursing or, trying to play with them and be annoyed. So it has been a balance for both the kids and for me throughout this entire journey. And you like to think that, the kids watch and they see work ethic and they see us doing hard things and they see us lose and fail and get our hearts broken and get upset. And like they're in a front row seat to see it all. And I don't know in previous generations if that really happened because they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have a home computer. Work stayed at work, home stayed at home. And that's not the way it's happening these days. So,
and moms too. There's wasn't a lot of moms that do what we do, And so, for both of us to have that kind of switch role of what the mom and the dad do. And so, I think that, we've had the mentality since they were little. I was like, you work long, work hard, and sometimes we may be on a boat talking on the phone, but we're on a boat, so you're welcome, so it's like, you just sometimes have to mix those worlds together.
Mom's our hero too, right? Who do I look up to? I look up to mom. You just got back from a 3-week vacation in Europe. And I think so many loan officers have this dream of like, if only I could take a week off, like a week, shut it down, disappear, throw my phone in the ocean, let alone a 3-week trip to Europe. Was this something that you've dreamed of for a long time? Is it something that you said, if once we hit this goal, we're doing it? Like, how did you get the courage to do it? And how did it end up going, being gone for 3 weeks?
Yeah. Well, I've told you many times, like you're kind of one of those, role models for me. And when I've heard like Shayla went to Spain for 6 months, we could do this, So, we talked a little bit while I was gone. It wasn't all not work, right? I don't have the busiest month of my career and not work. It was just that balance. What was glorious is you're on a different time zone. So in the AM, you get to have this just moment of no phones are ringing, no emails are going off. And then I just knew, 3:00 when everybody was kind of tired and done with everything anyways, they're like, great, we get to sit down and veg. And then I had to go to work, which wasn't necessarily fun for me, but it is what it is. It's like, again, balance of what you want to do. I had a great support team, my referral partners. Some I prefaced, some I didn't, some I was like, hey, I would like to think that they did not, send me business, but some may have even, been like, that they were helping me, which maybe it did help me, honestly, that I didn't have to have a very needy client. I could have lost one or two, which was okay in that moment. And I did secretly probably pray for that. Like, let's just have a little bit of down. And so, you're just always nervous, and so, and we had been talking about it for a long time. I thought I would do it at Christmas, where I thought that would be like a little bit quieter of a time, but it's like, if you don't do it, you don't do it. You'll never do it. My kids' age. And, I just had to do it. And just knowing like when I was going to schedule. And luckily, like Sundays are a good day for me of just rest. So it's like I really like tried to choreograph like Saturday, Sundays in a town that I really wanted to just be all in and focused and drinking wine by 3 and not be taking phone calls, And so, and then again, a great team that supported me wholeheartedly, and we're all in. And I'm sure cursed my name, but here we are. We're back, and we're going to get them all closed. Right now everything's closing on time and pretty smooth. So yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Yeah. Being 3 years as a loan officer, I know for me, I was 10 years in sales, 10 years commission only, and still feeling panicked every day. Like, is the phone going to stop ringing? Am I going to be found out? I'm only as good as my last deal or my last phone call. I really felt like on stage every single day. And it's very much a scarcity mindset. Like if I don't call back right away, then they're going to leave me and go somewhere else. So for you to have such an abundance mindset, and like you said, you're still feeling the worry. You're like, I hope it slows down, but I don't want it to slow down too much. Like this is just the psyche of a loan officer and a psyche of a salesperson. But for you to say things like, if you don't go, you don't go. and your kids are only this age once. And screw going when it's cold. Why not, if you're going to go and spend the money and do the thing, like do it. And I also like that you were strategic. Like, hey, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to cut myself slack, and I want to be in awesome places to do that. This is how you win in all areas. This is how you do find harmony, is that you find those ground scores where you're like, it's a Sunday, I know I'm going to kill it today. And then you get a little less sleep probably. Were there nights you stayed up till midnight working?
Oh, for sure. And woke up. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So when it all looks pretty on Instagram with like the family photos in front of the tower or whatever, let me just tell you what's really happening, guys. It's a shit show. You're trying really hard to be present and playful mommy and like super into it. At the same time, your brain is still thinking about stuff. And then you're shoving your kids on YouTube for a while in the hotel for downtime, and you're crushing out pre-approvals out on the balcony. And maybe you're sneaking wine while you're doing your pre-approvals, but like you figure it out. So anyway, let's talk about being a realtor, because all of us loan officers work with real estate agents, and so many people are working in markets where they grew up and they know a ton of people. They maybe have a previous career in real estate. You're in Oklahoma, stationed there, and you become a realtor and sell real estate for 4 years. Then you move to Germany and basically have to just give it up and stop selling, which again, to me, you're so competitive. You work so hard, you build a database, and then you just have to leave it. And then you move to Texas, and in San Antonio, you spend another 3 years and rebuild your business again. And then you go overseas to Asia and you have to stop again. Like, what's your mindset? You get into a new place, you're a trust builder, networker. How do you start finding business? Let's first keep the real estate hat on to like, how did you do that? And to what level did you grow your business?
I mean, I think anytime you're growing your business, you start with small circles, right? What's my sphere? And then what sphere does that sphere touch? So obviously I always have a built-in sphere with the military. So it's like you start there, and I genuinely just love people. So it's not unnatural for me to be like, I'm going to wine night, I'm going to bunco, I want to go to the activities club, I want to join the spouses club. So all of those things to me are not forced. So I would start there, right? And then, as you get in business, I would love to say I'm totally organic when I have like a party over at my house, but I do want to, just build that and then connect that circle to that circle and that circle to that circle. And then it's a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And so I would always start, with, I would hate to say like just making friends. And that sounds a little cheesy, but it's true. Like that was just like, I remember my husband, when we first got to Lawton, which is where Fort Sill, Oklahoma is, I sent out a flyer and I was like, Jim, you go pass these out to every single guy in the unit. I was like, go find me some friends. I was like, I can't do this. I can't live in this town, And so I made everybody dress up in camo. To this day, I could say these girls' names, and I'm still friends with them. Like, it was just like, so that's how it started. And then that was in like January, and then I didn't start real estate till that May. And so, but then right away, I still leaned on and connected with those girls. And then they would even get interested in real estate. They were buying and selling, and people were moving. And I did get pretty lucky. Our very first duty station, and being a realtor, I ended up selling the commander his house. And so, I got to sell his house. It was my very first listing. And then it was my very first sell. And then I think I did 8 that year, like with his wife was like me. She was a loudmouth, and she spread my name everywhere. So that was, sometimes you just get lucky, and I just got lucky. I like to think I did a good job, and that's why you get referred over and over. Right. And so, but, for the most part, it's just that I started with that really small sphere, and then I just build upon it, but it starts with me always genuine and with friends. And then, asking those friends to please help promote me, and they're usually willing to do that. Right. Yeah.
So that was really powerful what you said. Start as friends and then ask the friends to help you. That's the part that I think people will miss, is ask people to help you. And what does that sound like? Go back in the time, you're a new realtor, you've not sold anything, and you're making friends. How would you ask me to help you?
I still do it to this day. If any friends are watching, they're like, yeah, she asks for business all the time, and I'm like, listen, I don't pay this mortgage by without support, so it's like when you're in sales, it's like, and I like to think like, if you refer me, so if I tell my friend, if you refer me, like I promise to do the bestest job, and so it's just like, I hate to say you kind of sell yourself, but you say, listen, friend, why would you want them to go to someone they don't know or someone that you don't think that they would care for? So if you know someone that's looking to buy or sell, would you please, I would love if you would just drop my name. I'd love the opportunity to service them. Again, it sounds a little cheesy. I mean, but I would say it all the time and still say it to this day. I'm just like, I'm going to promise you that I'm going to do the best job for whoever you send my way. And I think anybody wants to be attached to that too, right? Like that they know when they send someone your way. So after that, it was like, they would call and they'd be like, oh man, thank you so much for taking care of my friend. And I'm like, good, now go tell 3 more people, please. Thank you. So, thanks for helping me out, And so, I mean, I also, with my genuine friends, they also know how competitive I am. Like, I mean, I'll say, look, I'm trying to be number one. I'm trying to, I'm very, very open with that. I mean, they know I'm a competitor. So it's just like, I promise to do a good job though. Like with all that said, you're not going to send something and send someone my way and it not be, a good experience for them.
At the last Slay with Shay, we had Jason Jacobs on stage. He's got one of my more popular podcast episodes, and he literally tells people, I want to help you win. I want you to call me as the guy that helps you win. Every strategy I put in place is to help you win an offer. And he just keeps talking about winning, 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 winning. You've mentioned the word competitor probably 4 or 5 times in the short time we've been on here. So you own it. You own it. You wear it. You talk about it. It's something that's out loud for you. And it's interesting because Jason was talking about, here's ways that you help a client write a more competitive offer through reducing their contingencies, writing faster closings, doing a higher earnest money. I mean, it was very simple stuff, but it's packaging, it's intention, it's an energy that you're sending out to people that make them feel that confidence. And I asked the room, how many of you are competitive? And what do you know? 90% of the people raise their hand. They're, of course, paying for money, coming to Slay with Shay, around top professionals. They're all competitive. And then I said, keep your hand up if you tell people straight up you're competitive and you want to win and help them win. And most hands went down. So I'm like, why would you be a closet competitor? Why wouldn't you wear that loud and proud? So I'm just really glad that you said that, especially being a woman, because I don't know if women think, oh, I can't let people see that I'm really competitive. So I'm going to be secretly competitive, which is worse.
Worse, way worse. Because then you sound like,
worse.
Yeah. No. And I want to tell my competitors that I'm competitive. Like, I'm okay with that too. Like, I mean, if you're competitive, I'm like, I'm going to do the best job. Good luck. Good luck beating me. Like, and that's okay, right? It's friendly competition then, I mean, I'm friends with tons of LOs, and I'm like, it's okay in our job to guarantee that you're going to be the best. Like, that's great. I want to be the best. I want to be number one in all the things, so, but.
Fantastic. No. Okay, so you moved then to Savannah. So you've been a realtor, then you've been a stay-at-home mom as you relocate basis. You've been a realtor, you've been a stay-at-home mom, on and on and on. And then you moved to Savannah and you decide to be a loan officer. Why?
Why? Why, Shayla? Why? So yeah, in San Antonio, I had some great, when I was a realtor in Lawton, this is 20 years ago, this is circa 2006. So this is pre-crash. So my loan officer was, this is the days of kickbacks. She sat in a trailer in the back. She was horrid. It's a countrywide days, like all the days, right? So then fast forward 2013 to 15, go to San Antonio and truly meet a lender that's there to earn your business, right? We know that most of our business comes from realtors, and it does need to be earned, right? It's a relationship of give and give, but you still want to know that your lender is working for you and with you, so it's, so I had that, and I met, a great networker at the time. So I would say he was very influential in my networking style. Just same thing, trust the people that I had. Like, I would give this one file to actually a lender that, and we always talk about local lenders. I give this to a lender that I never ever saw him, but I trusted he got it done every single time. And he always, I hate to talk about rates and fees, but I just knew it was the best rates and fees. We were going to go to the table, so I just had these really great role models. And then when there's deals going bad and you get that call and you're like, this isn't going to work, or this happened. Well, they bought a car. Well, why does that matter? Or what, their debt to income is off now because, this happened, or they had a lag. And, so it's like, so at that point, then I started asking questions more. So as a realtor, I wanted to know how we went from A and now we're at M and now we're not going to Z. What was it? Like, where was it? Where was it in the process? I mean, I at that point had bought a lot of houses. And what's so funny is I remember when I was applying to be a lender, I was like, I was a top producing realtor, but I was like, so I had done hundreds of homes that I was like, I know about originating. I know about loans. I can tell you all about loans. I mean, what goes on the back end for us is unreal, right? I mean, it's comical. And I'm joking because I just remember telling one lender that I wanted to be hired from, I was like, dude, I've closed hundreds of loans. And he's like, we haven't closed them. You've never originated a loan in your life. So like knowing that A to Z and what that actually looks like, right? And so yeah. Now, but yeah, I was just always curious. And like I said, I think I had great role models and great people that would take the time to give me that, and did I understand it all? No, obviously I thought I did. So then I would tease. I'm like, I'm coming over to be a lender next, and it's like, again, we talk about that recreating yourself. I knew I had to come here to Georgia and recreate myself. So here I am with this, dilemma essentially, right? Like I knew I've been in this space for a long time. This is my space. It fills my cup, overflows my cup to help in this process. And so I was like, okay, well, instead of trying to do the real estate thing again, because the thing is we're flooded with realtors, right? We're kind of flooded with loan officers too, So I was like, okay, let's just try it. So I took my license, and my best friend had become a realtor too. And so she's like, well, let's just do this thing together. I'll be the realtor, you be the loan officer. So again, all joking aside, we do get to partner together to this day. And I tried it, and then it's just, yeah, here I am. So
it's stuck. So was there something about you were curious, you wanted to change, and you were going to recreate yourself? Was there also something about, nights, weekends? Was there something about real estate that had burned you out that made you think that lending was going to be more up your alley or meet your goals, or just wanting something new?
Of course, you think you'll work banker's hours, right? So again, I'm just joking, like, I'll work 8 to 5, And so I'm pretty sure I work more hours now, by the way. And so, it's like there's no such thing as like taking off a Monday or taking off a Friday, where you get to do that in real estate all the time. And so, yeah, I absolutely thought the hours would be different. I thought they'd be more conducive to, normal. And so, I mean, at the beginning, until you find those boundaries and find what you're doing. And like you talked about the plate, spinning. Now I can have a little bit more of that normalcy of hours. But yeah, I definitely thought there would be more advantage to just like I could do more, like I could have more in the pipeline, hopefully still make the same amount and work less hours. But yeah, not so much.
So you obviously speak realtor. And I got to think that was a big advantage for you, in addition to just being Lucy and so friendly and loving people and being bold, and you've recreated yourself so many times. But how did you approach Savannah? Like, what did you do to go out and start earning loan referrals when you're now a new LO in a new town and no one?
Yeah. When I talk about that small circle. So again, I mean, for me, I touch military, right? I speak really good military spouse language. And so I've been doing it for 20 years. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to start there. So I'm going to find realtors that do just that I've done what they've done, right? That they've been part of spouses group. So I immediately started, smile and dial, right? Like, hey, I've Lucy, that very uncomfortable call of meeting a new referral partner. I landed some whales, so what you would call it. Just that first initial couple of them were just happened to be mad at their lender at the time. Woohoo, So I was like, so those calling. I also then I would meet a couple of realtors too that like obviously once maybe they weren't doing a whole lot. I was like, hey, who else do you want to introduce? Who else can we introduce to? I am 100 girls sitting down with lunches and going to, inviting several, like, please do that. I also would rent. So this is one thing I took from a lender in San Antonio. I'd rent a bus. And so I'd go show around. It was one of my favorite things that I did. it, so I call it the drunk bus. But, I'd rent the bus. And so I met several of my referral partners that are still, top referral partners to this day. So that networking, right? So I guess that's really what I would do. I would just start it off, and again, I would ask like, hey, do you know another realtor that could use my services? Do you know another realtor that could use, and again, I start small of really speaking just the VA language. One, it was something, again, I thought I knew about VA loans at the time, which, it takes a few loans. What do they say, 200 loans? So, so now that I do, but just saying that like, hey, I connect well with, I've lived this life, and genuinely just being like, I'm going to take care of my people. These are my people. And I think, again, when a realtor feels that and feels that trust and again, the military spouse language, it was kind of some instant connections that I had and had really quick success with that. And then I would hit up teams. More stuff that I should be doing these days. That I'm not tired, but you know what you should be doing. You're just like, okay, so yeah.
Well, this is why precisely I wrote the archetype quiz, so that we could remember how we got here in the first place, right? And you're the perfect example of a networker, trust builder, because a true networker will just get busy. They will think about that small circle. They will tell a story. I love that you said, I made cold calls and then I got to girls' lunches and then I got to buses and who do you know and who do you know and who do you know and how can you invite them in? I think a lot of people think of a networker as only going to networking groups. Like I'm going to go to a big event and I'm going to get names at a big event. But a true networker is literally mining for their next relationship in every relationship because they're builders. They're building a network of people, right? And also people that they like and they want to do fun things with.
And so you've
got it very fun. This month you're closing 22 loans. It's a record month. And you said, Shay, I'm doing this in June because of the work I did in February and March. So tell me what your prospecting looked like in February and March that's equated to 22 closings in June.
Smiling and dialing and begging.
Ooh, tell me what begging sounds like. Tell me the begging.
Hey, realtor friend. I am really trying to have like a bang up summer. Like, what do you got? Who do you got? Who can we call? Who do you have that maybe didn't qualify last year? Like, I mean, just begging them for their book of business to be like, hey, like just because someone else didn't give them an opportunity, like let's go together. Let's go in together and just call them. My spring is always that. Like, someone maybe a year ago didn't. And so it's like encouraging realtors, like just because it was dead then, it's not dead now, So I do a lot of that of just like encouraging my realtor partners to really dial in on, it's again, we don't eat for 90 days, right? So it's like, you have to just, so begging like, hey, let's look at your book, let's look at what you had or what you do have or what you can have.
And are you going to that realtor's office and pulling up their CRM and saying, let's go through your people and see who could call, or are you calling their cold leads or in the pond together? Or are you just giving them energy and it inspires them to do the work?
I would probably, I've only had two that have actually gone in and like, we've literally, sat there and done it together. But for the most part, just encouraging like, hey, let's go together. I try to too. If you've ever sent me a referral, I try to keep up with them. I'm old school with some paper. I'm touching it. It's my paper Bible, and so it's not the best CRM, you asked about agents earlier, like, I don't know, so, but just knowing that, right? Like that person, we know how hard it is to get that phone to ring, right? So it's like, we have to keep up with them, and even if it's not today, it's not that it's not, so it's just, so just encouraging them that, and if they were told no before, we still have to just keep, and they know somebody. Everybody knows somebody buying or selling real estate, so whether it's 3 times removed, 10 times removed, somebody knows somebody. And again, encouraging them to ask for that. And hopefully giving them that dialect and courage, right? It takes courage to say, hey, do you know somebody that needs me? Yeah, you do. Of course you do. So
how many realtors have you met over 3 years? And how many do you keep on a list that you would smile, dial, and beg for?
So I send a group text every single Friday, and I have 260. Now I have 160 on there. 160. I probably have 100 ignore me, and I have 60 that I would personally pick up a phone right now and do that, like beg for, And I have not done good. Yeah. I've not done a good job of, I talked to a realtor the other day. I've not done a good job of building more relationships, right? Like we know that realtors have, just like us, they have ebbs and flows. And so I feel like some of my tops right now are kind of in that lull. And I'm like, now I got to go meet new people, So it's like, now I need to maybe go through that 160, shift through that. Say like, okay, they have never once called my phone. Am I bothering them on Friday? Yes, probably. Like I need to just refresh, knowing that in my head, time, energy, and money, not enough of it.
So you went from 0 to 160 at some point. Did you individually add these people as you ran into them in networking scenarios,
Yes.
lunches, coffees, listing agents? Did you ask for their permission to be added? What was your process to build to the 160?
Everyone in there, I've had some kind of connection with, whether I've done a lunch and learn. So it may just be, I call that very casual, right? And, or maybe they've been maybe on the other side of a transaction. So maybe they're not my personal referral source, but I've said, hey, if you felt like this goes good, you care if I add you to my, this thread that I do? And there, most people are like, yeah, and then they just hit ignore, whatever, every Friday. And so, I can't think of anyone on there that I don't personally know their face, something about them. And I probably would pick up the phone on all of them.
So what I love, Lucy, is that you don't follow a calendar. You don't use the planner. You aren't very systematic yet. You're definitely in that stage of bet on myself, sell with crazy enthusiasm every day, run until I drop dead in the evening. And what's great is that you believe in yourself. So this is why you take a 3-week vacation and you come back and you go, hey, I'm back. And you get back at it because you believe in your ability to love on people and to do a good job. If I could get Lucy systematized a bit more, like watch out world, because you have no problem meeting people. The problem when we don't have systems is that we do end up hitting a ceiling. Like you said, I probably should meet more people, but then you're like, where would I even put them? I have just this Friday text going. So you're really growing on your personality. I wanted to highlight you, Lucy, because I love you. And I just wanted to remind everybody that if you just love people and you show them that you care and you're enthusiastic, you can do a lot of business. Evidenced by your closing 22 deals this month. You haven't figured out all the systems and processes. You haven't figured out how to get, a great LOA that stays with you for 5 years. You've had 3 different LOAs over the last, year and a half, right? So like you're figuring all this stuff out. And I don't want to put people on the podcast that are only like perfect people who've been coached for 15 years and like boring.
Definitely not me.
I mean, what's so fun is that you have that raw energy. And I want to remind everybody that's what's attractive. People are so worried about the fact that they only have 2 years of experience and they think they need to know everything before they go out there, and their perfectionism holds them back. Or it's the procrastination that holds them back because they're like, well, what if I don't say it just right? Or what if I'm bugging people? Or they just overanalyze to death. They'll look up people's numbers and all their things. So to me, I don't see you being held back by procrastination. Would you?
No, I procrastinate the things that I don't want to do in the business, and so like make new referral partners, and I shouldn't say it that way, but it's like, I just want my ones that I know are good to just be successful. Like, come on, girls, we can do this, So,
okay, pause. So this is you when you catch yourself doing that. That's you living in your trust builder. And then when you get scared or you get motivated or you get competitive and you get pissed, then you go back into networking to expand that group, right?
Yeah. So I've already planned 2 events because I'm like, I know that what I need to do, because I'm like, no, I know, what you need to do, but it's just like, so, because begging someone that's not having the business right now, it's not going to work. That's not a good business plan. We all know that. So
even you who loves people, loves making friends, knows you're super charming and you're good at it, still procrastinates because it's still uncomfortable for you to network, even though you're a networker. Is that true?
100. Yeah. 100.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the part that we have to stay in our growth edge. This is why being coached, having a challenge like the 10-10-10 challenge, and, like going, okay, I'm going to get a little 1% better on the systems because I don't want to do that. And I'm going to get 1% better on forcing myself to make that call or to expand my list. And that's how you continually grow and get up to 200. You procrastinate things you don't want to do. I'm assuming there's other stuff like paperwork or expense reports or all that other crap that you don't love either.
Well, that's that quadrant that, forget about that quadrant.
Do you have perfectionist tendencies? Where does that get in your way?
Not really.
So I'll say it another way because I believe you. And I'm the same. Done is better than perfect. And let's just freaking get it done and move on, right? Let's build the airplane in the air. Let's just wing it. Let's just freaking get it done. You and I are the same. But on the other side, you have shared with me that you struggle with control and letting other people do parts of the stuff. So that's not perfectionism. That's kind of control issues. How would you talk about that?
So for me, when someone gives me someone that they have said, Lucy's going to do a great job, when you let a team member, speak to someone when maybe I haven't been able to build that rapport and introduce that person. So for me, as a loan officer, how many 34-minute phone calls can I have per day, right? And that's my average, what I call a discovery call, is anywhere from 24 to 34 minutes is the average of what I take to introduce myself to someone, introduce them to this process, to introduce them to the whole thing. So, but again, like you said, when you have so many hours a day, and that's not my only job, and so it's and I want that. Anybody who sends me a referral, I want to take something. I had someone that called a few minutes before this, and I was like, oh, why did you answer the phone? Because I don't want anybody to feel that I've rushed them or I haven't taken the time, and so that, I guess, is a perfection. The very first for me initial, because I feel like it solidified me as your loan officer, as your consultant, person, as your, your team member. So I feel like if I haven't had that, so I guess that, yes, would be when I think about going to that next level and building and growing. There's nobody like me. There's nobody that talks like me. There's no one that's going to care like me, that's going to, that won't be like, look, I don't have time for this conversation right now. I don't have 34 minutes, but it's how did they structure that? Did they sound aggressive? Did they sound, so I'm like, yeah, so there.
Can I give you a tiny bit of coaching on that piece?
Please.
What I thought my job was in the beginning as a loan officer was to care the most, as you talked about, and to be the most available and fast and easy to deal with. What I realized was I was giving Nordstrom level service to people who hadn't made any commitment to me. And the most successful partnerships is when I lean in, but you lean in. And I lean in more, but you lean in more. And there's an equal amount of commitment in the relationship. And so with a borrower, if I just freely give 34 minutes of my time, I haven't seen your credit report, you haven't submitted any of your documentation, you haven't filled out an application or given me your information, what I'm doing is I'm going all the way and making it really easy for you not to lean in at all. And so what I started realizing was this needs to be a give and take, especially because we work so much for free with a hope and a prayer at the end we get paid, right? So what I changed was that first phone call is maybe 5 to 8 minutes, because you can leave an imprint, you can talk about fear, hopes, and dreams, you can edify your agent, and then you can say the next step is. And that next step might be introducing your LOA on a live transfer that they take a 15-minute phone app, or it might be sending them your online application link. And you give them the next step. Because listen, if you got a DUI and you called the best DUI attorney in town, you wouldn't expect that attorney to answer the phone immediately and go, hi, this is Joe. You're like, wait a minute. I thought you were the most prestigious lawyer in town, right? B, you would expect that you'd have to go to their office. You'd probably have to pay something to have a consultation. Again, there's leaning in and there's leaning in. Yeah. So that is a part of knowing your value, but also understanding human dynamics, that if I give it all away for free, that's their perception of how easy it is to get anybody else on the phone too. It makes it easier to shop me. So 10 minutes is my boundary, and you kill it in those 10 minutes. Okay. And maybe it's 8 minutes.
I want to hear that script right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have 10 questions and I'll share it with you that we teach all the time. And the questions are in the right order for strategic reasons. So maybe that's a solo podcast that I could just do. But and then every single relationship should have a next step. That's how you convert. So every one of those 60 people or even all the 160, this is where her CRMs are really valuable, that you know what the next step is. And when you have somebody helping you manage that, Lucy, you can do your piece in 10 minutes and give up the behind the scenes, chasing the documentation, chasing the application, and doing all that crap, because you're that $500 an hour consultant. You're not the $20 an hour receptionist that could just stay on the phone as long as you want, right? So it's a little shift, but it's moving more towards abundance. And listen, I will then spend an hour with somebody if they've got the credit, the income, the assets, they've given me all their docs, they've leaned all the way in, I will lean all the way in. And I will give you an hour and I will break down loan programs with you and I will edify your agent and I will teach you how to write a winning offer. I mean, I will blow your mind, but I'm not going to just give you 35 minutes freely without you doing nothing. Does that make sense?
No, totally. Yeah, 100.
Last comment was, I want to hear what it means to you to earn the business from a realtor. When you said, I want to earn it and I got to earn it, what does that mean? What does it mean to a realtor to have somebody earn their business?
Well, I mean, we talk about how hard it is to get the phone to ring, right? I mean, every day so it takes them, if they get 5 leads a month, and one that'll come to fruition, like that one, to earn that we're going to have done the most bang up job that those people, whether their first time or this is their 4th time, I always tell the realtor, that they're like their coach. They're the head of the head of the body, right? And like we get to be their right arm, and I get to help them knock it out of the park, right? But with their brain, with their, because they are the consult. As much as like it is hard for me too, because like my old realtor brain wants to build this like incredible relationship with these people, and I'm like, you haven't spent days with them, or they're not your family, or whatever it is, So, but still know that I'm going to have earned that realtor to say, now I don't believe in this give 3 lender garbage, right? It's garbage. And so I want that realtor that's going to refer me as just that, right? Like, but when they have referred and said, Lucy is on my team, and she's going to help us along this process, that I've earned that call, that I've earned that number, I've earned that text, that they know that this is going to be the best experience, the best home buying experience that person could have ever dreamed of, And so because just like I said, I know how hard it is for them to get that phone to ring. And I just want to make sure that I've done my part and earned my referral. I've earned my name, to be in the lineup. So.
Thank you for saying that. I do believe that is the key, is when people know that you honor them and you respect all the work that they're having to do behind the scenes to give you a referral, and you treat that referral like gold. Like it's your family's one paycheck for the month that you chose me for. I'm going to treat it with that level of respect and care.
Pressure.
Yeah, it's a big deal. What I just want to further clarify on, Lucy, because you believe that and you say that and you sell that with all the belief and conviction in your body, number one, people can feel that and it's the reason you convert. But number two, I want you to know they're still trusting you to get them to the finish line and a paycheck. So you get to determine your process. And just because for the first 3 years of your career, you've been doing this 34-minute call as the way to show you really, really care, I promise you, because I've closed 400 deals a year, many years, that whether you do a 10-minute or a 34-minute, it's the next step process that you design that works for you, that they are going to trust you to uphold. So I know sometimes, guys, it's scary to change what we've been doing. But what I know, Lucy, is if you want to go from 130 to 200 units, you've got to cut down those times so that you're spending time with the people who are really qualified. And guess what? The realtors want the ones that are really qualified too. You don't get a gold medal and a badge because you talk to 10 clients all for 34 minutes. You get a gold medal and a badge because you got the realtor paid and they know which ones to spend their time with. So I am so grateful that you took time to spend it with me. Immediately after your 3-week Europe trip, I was hunting you down for this podcast because I'm like, I need to get more girls like Lucy that are just giving it all they got, wearing your heart on your sleeve, juggling being a mom and a business owner, also supporting your husband in this career that he's had for 22 years. I just love and adore you, Lucy. Thank you for the conversation today. Sister. And you've built my trust from the minute I met you. You're a hell of a trust builder. Like you locked me in. Like we're forever friends. So
Forever. You're stuck with me now, friend. Sorry. So,
and you treat everybody that way, don't you?
I try to. So everybody's kind of made fun of me for years. I've said the word friend, and I mean, I genuinely mean it. Like if I call you friend, I mean it. Like it's, I mean, obviously I have levels of friendships, and so, but yeah, if you get the word friend out of me, we're friends. You're stuck with Lucy. Sorry. So.
And I'm happy to be stuck with you, Lucy, and you can call me anytime. Thank you for all that you shared. Congratulations on your success. And I hope to see you at Slay with Shay in September.
Yeah. September. I need to put that on the calendar. Yes. Come on. Let's go.
Actually, give me Jim's cell phone number. I'm going to get it on his calendar.
Because when Lucy just said, I would put it on my calendar. You're like, what calendar is that, Lucy? I run about 4, none that I look at. So, yeah.
Well, keep kicking ass. Thank you for being on the podcast. We'll talk to you soon.